Tuesday, September 30th, Mohsen Mahdawi, the Columbia undergraduate student, and Rumeysa Öztürk, the Tufts graduate student, who were taken into custody by ICE and put into deportation proceedings based on their speech that was pro-Palestinian in nature. They're going to be in court. Their cases have been appealed by the Trump administration to the Second Circuit Court of Appeals. So 1 o'clock tomorrow, Tuesday, September 30th, their cases will be argued together in the Second Circuit, which is in Lower Manhattan. What the Trump administration is arguing is that the federal courts have no power, no jurisdiction to review the circumstances under which the government exercised their authority, illegitimate authority, to punish these students for engaging in First Amendment protected speech by abusing the immigration process and putting them into removal proceedings. This is so unusual. Normally, you can bring what's called a habeas corpus petition in federal court to challenge the abuse of state power in a range of contexts, and that's what the lawyers for Öztürk and Mahdawi did in these cases and won, holding off on their deportation until the federal courts had a chance to look closely and rule on the First Amendment objections that they've raised in these cases. And the Trump administration is, like everywhere else, saying we do not have to be accountable to the Constitution, to the courts, or to the people. It's a radical argument. We've never seen it. The Supreme Court has ruled just the opposite, that that's exactly what habeas review is about, is holding one branch accountable through judicial review in a co-equal branch, the courts, to the dictates of the Constitution. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. Unfortunately, the judges, there are 3 judges that will be hearing this case, not the best panel from the perspective of Mahdawi and Ozturk. The first is the Chief Judge of the Second Circuit, Deborah Livingston, a former colleague of mine at Columbia Law School. She taught criminal law at Columbia for a very long time, was a prosecutor before that. I think of Deborah, Judge Livingston, as a kind of old school Republican, law and order type, not ideological in the way that some of the new Trump appointees are, including the other 2 judges in this panel. So William Nardini is the second judge. He's a Trump appointee, pretty conservative judge if Trump appointed him. But the third judge, this guy Stephen Menashe, not only was he appointed by Trump pretty recently, but he worked for the Trump administration during the first administration in the White House counsel's office closely with Stephen Miller, developing immigration policies like the Remain in Mexico policy and elsewhere. He's very close to the Trump administration. He's Jewish, his family were refugees, Holocaust survivors, and he wrote a law review article in the Pennsylvania Law Review called Ethno-Nationalism and Liberal Democracy, defending the idea that the state of Israel as an ethno-nationalist state, that is, one that is a Jewish state, can be a liberal democracy. Now, most scholars, philosophers, experts of liberal democracy say that everyone in a state, a liberal democratic state, should have the same rights regardless of their religion, their race, their ethnicity. And the idea of ethno-nationalism actually completely contradicts the idea of liberal democracies, but not for this judge. So not a great panel. Thankfully, Öztürk and Mahdawi have really good lawyers who are going to make really smart arguments tomorrow. But as we've seen, the courts are in many cases willing to give the government a pass when it comes to constitutional objections to what they've been doing. So I'll update you afterwards. I'm going to try to be there in court tomorrow, just to be by Mohsen's side. He's a good friend. He's a wonderful, wonderful person. And it is a travesty that these 2 people are going through this. More soon.